chances are you bought the wrong camping fridge. That fridge you thought would simplify camping, it's just made things more complicated. Now you're stuck needing extra solar panels, more battery power, and back to relying on your ice-filled cooler. In this video, I'm gonna share what those 4 mistakes are, how you can actually save money by buying the right refrigerator that actually fits your camping style, and then maybe convincing you not to throw away that old cooler after buying your new 12-volt fridge. I think a 12-volt fridge is kind of like a shoe. You know, you buy that high top dollar shoe and it gives you the performance, but sometimes it's that budget shoe, the Croc or the Hey Dude, that gives you actually what you need. Fridges essentially come in 2 categories. You have size, so you have a big fridge and a small fridge, and you have insulated. Low insulation, high insulation. And the top dollar fridges, sneeze, allergies out here, the pine is, and the top dollar fridges tend to be bigger. Also, they tend to have more insulation. So we need to decide not what fridge is best in terms of brand and components, that's also important, but what we really need to figure out is what type of fridge works best for how we camp and where we camp. And the answer is probably going to surprise you. Size matters, sort of. Fridge efficiency often hinges on the capacity of the fridge and that compressor. Take my Iceco Go 20 for example. It ran endlessly on a small power setup due to its efficient compressor and that compact size. I was concerned that when I upgraded in size, I'd lose that efficiency. Well, eventually, as my family's needs grew, I upgraded to the Iceco JP40 fridge, which is double the capacity of the Go 20. The efficiency held up. However, this is not always the case. This is a weather-sealed fridge, so Iceco makes one. ARB, if you're an ARB person, probably twice the price, but they make one too, so you can keep this out here and expose it to the elements. I find there's a tipping point where larger sizes lead to largely diminishing returns. Take my new fridge, for example, the Iceco APL 55. I was almost forced to choose this fridge because I needed my next fridge to be weather-sealed. Check out the inefficiency of this fridge. The APL 55 in a 24-hour period in a controlled environment consumes 0.995 kilowatts. Compare that to my JP40 at 0.480 kilowatts, and you're seeing a huge difference, right? That's over double the consumption. That might not sound like much to you, but if you put that into camping terms, that could be the difference between 2 days of refrigeration and 4 days of refrigeration. Now you're going to hear me talk a lot about Iceco in this episode and see it. As you know, I'm not sponsored by them, but when I find something that works, I stick with it. And that's with all the gear on this channel. But just know you can do this same research with your favorite fridge brand. It's all into paying attention to the little details. Let me show you how to find the unicorn of fridges. Iceco has a ton of different fridges that are expensive, shiny, and quite inefficient. But sometimes a little more expensive can also mean a little more efficient. Like I said, it's finding that sweet spot. Enter the Iceco JP50 Pro. Although this is 10 quarts bigger than the JP40, it actually uses less watts per hour. Plus it has everything I wish the JP40 had. A handle and wheels for moving that big fridge around camp and to your back door when you're done. Has those dual side openings, which is a big deal because typically you can't get your fridge door open when it's stored in your tow vehicle or other places because it runs into maybe your luggage or the sidewalls. With 2 openings, it gives you a lot more access opportunities. And then it has things like UV sterilization and app capabilities to monitor and all that, but that's not really what I'm into. And I call this a unicorn because beyond this size, fridges become heavier, bulkier, and much less efficient. Think about it. This fridge is 51 quarts, only about 6 or 7 quarts less than that APL 55, but the JP50 is more than 2 times as efficient as that APL 55. 2 times! And if you really want to know the real unicorn in the lineup, it's actually the JP40. That seems to be the magical size. The JP40 Pro is 3 times more efficient than the APL 55. That means 2 days of refrigeration versus 6 days of refrigeration. It really pays to do your research, guys. For most users, mid-size fridges offer the best balance of capacity and efficiency. Larger models often bring unnecessary weight, size, and obviously higher power consumption. But there must be a reason they make high-dollar fridges, right? Insulation versus efficiency. High-end fridges often come with better insulation, but this doesn't always mean better performance. Remember my trip through the state of Oregon?
Oregon coastal sunset. Check!
I had the Aero Teardrop in tow with that mid-sized Dometic fridge. Crazy as this is going to sound, I used the same amount of battery capacity that I typically use for weeks on end out there, even months on end when I'm staying with my family, and I rarely, if ever, have to find shore power. With this Dometic fridge, every morning I woke up, talking day one of the trip, to the panic feeling of knowing my battery was almost dead. Literally every morning. Thank goodness for that efficient light leaf solar that topped me off throughout the day. But if I would have ran into 1 day or 2 days of rain, I would have been done. I found the Dometic's high energy consumption outweighed the benefits of its insulation and its stronger build. In milder climates such as the coast of Oregon or Washington, or you guys camping at elevation, or like our family does, just camping throughout the western states, an efficient fridge with moderate insulation is not only more affordable, but it's actually more practical than a higher quality insulated fridge.
I bet a lot of you know what this is.
Point number 3. So who really benefits from high-end fridges? Well, it must be those overlanders who are always buying them, right? Not necessarily. This is another common mistake that I see way too often. Overlanders keep their fridges in a controlled environment, and being most of them enjoy the journey as much or more than the destination, that means their fridge is surrounded by a cool, air-conditioned cushion most of the day. By the time they get to camp, even if they are in the desert, they're experiencing temperature drops in the evening. And if you're an overlander and you're convinced you need a top-dollar fridge from a well-known brand because they build their refrigerators to run in extreme angles of operation, aka off-roading, well, budget fridges do too.
Okay, take it a little slow. There's some ledges coming up.
And if you feel you must have a top-tier fridge due to high capacity needs, I'll highlight a potentially better option for you in my next point. But back to the desert. This is where the need for a high-dollar fridge comes in. Desert and hot temperatures like humid Florida is where they're worth every penny.
Taking it on a over 1,000-mile trip down to Flagstaff from Salt Lake, so it'll be good. We'll see how it does on the little ledges.
This is for people who primarily recreate in high temps. Those of us passing through can take our fridges out of our campers during those long hot road trips and keep them in the tow vehicle. And then when you hit your destination, you can do your best to just combat that heat with shade or additional insulation or where you choose to store that fridge. But if heat's the name of the game where you live, that extra insulation is going to give that compressor a needed break. The less your compressor cycles on throughout the day, the less energy your fridge is going to consume. It's that simple, at least for you desert dwellers. But for the rest of you, if your high-dollar fridge consumes 2 to 3 times the energy every time the compressor comes on, you may want to do the math for your region and see what makes the most sense for you. Now to that better option I mentioned earlier in terms of high-capacity needs. As our family's food needs grow, so did our fridge capacity requirements. Instead of just opting for a larger, less efficient fridge, I found creative solutions. The first solution is getting 2 small fridges. 2 low-consuming budget refrigerators will still cost you less than the large high-dollar refrigerator, and at 1/3 the efficiency, you'll still consume less energy. But I don't think this is really a practical solution. Having 1 12-volt fridge is awkward enough to move around, let alone 2, and the space each one takes up would be larger than the space of one standalone large-capacity fridge. I think there's a better solution, and here's where your old cooler comes into play. For the last 1.5 years, our family has reintroduced the cooler we detested so much back into our camping arsenal. And we love it. No more ice, That really is the major downfall of a cooler. That's why you need a 12-volt fridge to eliminate that pesky ice. But how you'll use this cooler will be different. This cooler is only for the first couple days of camping. You keep it cool with reusable ice packs you brought from home. No wet, soggy food, no dealing with ice runs. When the food runs out, we move over to the 12-volt fridge. If you have or are planning to get a 12-volt fridge, I'd consider focusing next on water conservation. A good fridge saves you from ice runs and soggy food, while efficient water use can bring similar peace of mind to the campsite. Water is heavy. Water is a limited resource. Check out my simple yet effective tips on conserving water while washing dishes and using minimal water for hot showers. Links to both of those videos will be in the description below. And as usual, guys, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next episode.